people, it's Monday and we've come pumpkin picking.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh no, he's got a great big crack in the bottom. Not that one.
Yeah, man down.
Mia wants that one.
Oh, I got one.
I got one.
We went literally all the way to the back. What if I take the camera, take the camera?
What?
She wants to take the camera.
You can take it, but you can't kill it.
I won't kill it. I'm such a pro at vlogging, guys. Like, how's your day's been, guys?
Yeah?
Yeah?
Perfect, right. Back we go.
Let's go, friends.
I shouldn't have worn nice clothes here. I should know better. What are you saying about the new night dunks? These are custom mud edition. Steph's clearly not gone anywhere, as you can tell.
I've worked
Kira's the only sensible on the wellies, and Mia has actually destroyed her boots. Come on, little legs, you've got this. We all got warm drinks, and then there's you with a Fanta. Well, they're dead. I might wash them. We'll see. Overall, I think we had a good time, didn't we, children? So that's what matters. Now to go home, start carving the pumpkins, and then I've got a couple of calls to jump on, see what New York session's saying, and yeah, so far productive Monday. All the usual stuff was done early morning, planned for this. Get right in there like that, and then yeah, man, that's the bit Steph I like.
No.
I've got a heart face for a heart eye.
Right, so this is what Mia wants. Kira wants to do
That's
a Roblox head for anyone's children that play Roblox. Maybe some adults play Roblox. I don't know. Steph plays it, so.
No, I don't.
You lot have got to vote which one's the best. You got Mia's, mine and Steph's, Kira's.
Mine.
Don't be nice just because they're children. They got to understand what losing means. So if they lose, isn't it? But let us know in the comments which one you prefer. Me and Mia on our way to Tesco to grab some bits and bobs because we realised we don't actually have any sweeties and bits for when trick-or-treaters knock. And obviously if we're doing pumpkins, usually that's a sign that you're accepting trick-or-treaters, right? And the last thing I want to do is be like, yo, I got a banana or grapes or apples. So we're going to get some bits. I got a lot of stuff. Can we get what?
A pop-up coffin that
You
will
want a
scare
pop-up
them.
coffin that will scare them? I don't think it... That'd be horrible.
No, don't bite. Leave my spidey alone.
So, it's Al from the future here, quick one. The reason I'm saying this is some of you don't have a great attention span and may not get to it. Later on in this video I do explain it further, but Darwinex dropped something this week which is absolutely phenomenal. It's game changing in the space. You can basically buy a permanent 100k allocation. You can't lose it, no drawdown rules, no max daily loss rules, no can't trade news rules, nothing. It's yours forever once you have an active Darwin and you've hit the percent gain. I'll pop an image up on screen here so you can see the different tiers. You decide which one you want. I personally went for the 5% one, which I'll show you purchasing it later on in the vlog. Get involved. I'm telling you now, you shouldn't be sleeping on it. Link in the description can save yourself 20% off the first month. If you want an annual plan, I also have a link for that. And if you go for the 3-year annual plan, they throw in an allocation with a target of 15% for free. Links below. Enjoy the vlog. Let's go. Right, people, it's Tuesday and we're changing the bed. Premium content around here. I always get the question of like, how do you manage to balance doing all your like normal routine and obviously having the kids off? I'm very good at planning and I kind of just prioritize that. But what that means is, and how it looks, and it's what I've been saying to a lot of people for a long time, is make sure you're actually writing down like a to-do list. And I know that sounds nuts and you're probably thinking, how's it going to help me? But what I mean by that is like prioritize. What's your most important task of the day? Write it down and actually prioritize it and make sure that you get that thing done. So it could be, I need to go for my walk. Okay, write it down and that's your priority. I think what a lot of people do and where a lot of it happens and goes wrong is people tend to almost write down too much because we live in this kind of hustle culture nowadays where it's like sleep when you're dead, blah, 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 whatever it is. Someone's working harder than you and whatever. And look, to some of it's hella valid, yeah? Some of it is valid. Like, there are people out there that are working harder than you. There are people out there that are doing things that, you know, essentially you're not. So, to some degree, I agree with it. But I think what happens is, it pollutes people, and people end up doing almost too much. They almost end up going, right, well, I need to be, you know, sacking off the kids. I need to be... Because it goes one of two ways, right? You either sack off the kids, spend no time with them, which ultimately is what everybody's why is that has children, or you sack off your loved ones or your partner or whatever it is because you're like, oh, I'm working, you know, I'm doing this for you. But then You never spend time with them, you never see them, and it's why I'm such a big advocate for it, and it's why I prioritise it so much. And, you know, obviously having kids young and being forced to grow up, you know, I would never change that, but it does. It makes you grow up. It makes you realise, like, right, I've got people that depend on me now, so they have to become priority. But at the same time, you have to prioritise yourself. You have to prioritise going to the gym. Why? Because your health is just as important. Your health is the foundation, but also how are you going to tell your kids to, you know, be healthy if you're not healthy? You know, that was one of the biggest things for me when I sort of lost all my weight. It was like, how can I preach, eat well, be healthy and be, you know, look after yourself if I'm not doing that? And I think a lot of it, again, it comes down to, it starts with us, right? But one of the biggest things as well is just wake up earlier. Like, everyone wants to wake up late and have lie-ins and stuff. Like, just get into a routine of waking up. I'm usually up around 5:30 every day. I wake up, I do like 20 minutes of yoga in the morning. Then I go to the gym. Some days, obviously, I have a rest day, so it depends, but I'll always do the yoga. I take Bruno out for a walk, and then I'm sort of cracking on with my non-negotiables. And to me, like, it's just a routine now, right? But what I would say to you is just start to prioritise one thing, whether it's going out and getting more steps in, whether it's joining the gym, whether it's incorporating going to the gym consistently, whether it's doing your, you know, your morning forecast and saying, like, right, what's the chart saying? And actually asking yourself, like, how do I feel this morning? Am I in the mood to trade? Am I in the mood and am I locked in the right flow state to make calculated decisions? Or am I already emotional? Am I already feeling a little bit meh because I've had a bad night's sleep, or something's happened this morning that's going to govern my decision making? Because often, when you go to the chart of a clear mind, you know those days where you just have a really good day on the charts? It's because you've had a clear mind, and that's why I'm an advocate of a journal. Because you can write down, this morning, I performed fantastically. Right, why? What did you do different? Maybe you went to bed earlier, maybe you ate earlier and you didn't have to digest food late, maybe you wore blue light glasses, maybe you were just not stressing, maybe you just had a good sleep, maybe it's because you'd worked out, you'd had a busy day or a productive day. Like, it's all about internalizing and realizing what you're doing, because everyone online says do this, do that, do this, but ultimately I've realized it's about what works for you. I'm in a very good routine and I prioritize the girls. Like, yesterday we went out and pretty much spent the whole day out. We were carving pumpkins, we had a fantastic day, but I still got everything done that needed to be done. And why? Because I planned. I think a lot of people lack this. It's just a simple structure to your day, planning, time blocking. I'm very punctual. It's something I've had for years now. I'm big on being on time, being early to things, etc., etc. Now, this might trigger some of you, and if it does, what I would do is I would ask yourself, why is it triggering you? Like, what caused it to make you feel shit? But often, a lot of people, yeah, as humans, we're looking for excuses and we're looking for reasons why to pass the blame. And I think quite a lot of people pass their blame onto the kids and they go, oh, it's the kids' fault, the kids were off, I couldn't do it because of the kids. And listen, if that triggers you, rather than clicking off and being like, this guy's a dickhead, really sit with that and ask yourself, is that me? Do I do that? Because early on, I used to be like, oh, but the kids, oh, I had to do this, oh, I had to do that, I needed to do this. But ultimately, it's like, that's your life. That's what you do all this for. So at the same time, it's like, well, how can I find a way to work around that? How can I find a way to make sure that this happens? And that's where it can be like, you know, specific times for your trading. It's all about acceptance and being at peace with the current situation you're in. Ultimately, you made a decision to have kids. You made a decision to embark on a journey of self-growth, self-improvement, self-development for the kids, but you have to prioritize them and yourself. And it's all about finding balance. And I do believe there is a thing called balance. However, you have to sacrifice certain things and you have to get into a routine. And look, you might watch me and think, right, this guy's doing loads of mad shit. How's he getting all these things done? It's taken time. It didn't just happen. I didn't wake up one day and be like, right, get up this time, do this, do this, do this. Do it gradually, step by step, and you start to build and create a routine. But the biggest thing is doing it when you don't want to do it, getting up on the days you don't want to get up, and saying to yourself, even though you don't want to do said thing, you're going to do said thing. I think that's the biggest thing because it shapes your identity. And too many people are sleeping on that. Too many people are like, I did it one day, but I didn't have time, I didn't have this. It's just excuses, it's just bullshit. The reality of it is we all have plenty of time. It's how we use it. And often it can be from just planning your day prior or in the morning. What's the most important task today? Make the bed. Right, okay, well, the bed's made. So there you tick it off. My most important task was done. What else do I need to do or could I do but hasn't got to be done? My most important task is to get my 10,000 steps in. Okay, let's do it. Tick. Be a bit more like empathetic towards yourself for ticking these things off, and they'll compound and you'll be doing more and more. It's why I do yoga, steps, gym, Discord, YouTube, content, housework, putting on washing at the moment, stripping the beds, tidying up, little one's going out in a minute. I've got Discord stuff going on, chart stuff that I'm looking at. I'm gathering data, like I've got to get my steps in. I've got shopping coming in. I've got loads happening. But in the chaos, I can see the clarity because I've done the work on myself and I'm prepared for that. So, look, I know there's a lot of like rambling there. Obviously, I was making a bed. Hopefully you heard it and it wasn't too like interfery. But, you know, ultimately, I just wanted to share there's no like secret source or obsession or whatever it might be with doing this stuff. It's just about doing the reps and making sure that ultimately you're prioritizing what matters most to you. And whether you've got kids, whether you've got pets, or whether you've just got a busy life, everybody can exercise, everybody can eat well, everybody can, you know, take time for themselves. Everybody can get up that little bit earlier. Honestly, just getting up earlier gives you so much more time in the day. You're doing stuff while people are sleeping. Of course you can have days if you want to have a lie-in, but for me personally, brilliant, great. For me personally, having a lie-in isn't all that. I don't enjoy it. I want to get up and get cracking. I don't want to waste my day. But that's just me and my identity again. And I get not everyone's like that. But for those that have asked, you know, how do you manage this? How do you manage that? When the school periods are coming up, when they're off, I just plan, right, things are going to change a little bit. I'm going to have to adapt and respond accordingly. But my priority is to ensure that I'm spending time with them. I'm making memories with them. They understand I have to work. But at the same time, the benefit of working for yourself is that you can dictate what happens. But you have to be disciplined and not get too carried away to go too one-sided that everything falls off. And it's a constant battle of balance. And that's why I believe balance is a thing. I believe it's a skill. And I believe not everyone has harnessed it, but you can, provided you put the effort in. But anyway, I'm going to make a coffee and crack on with my day. So Mia wants to read our penguin joke. Go on.
How does a penguin make pancakes?
How does a penguin make pancakes? I don't know.
With its flippers.
With its flippers. Ha ha. We're being pizza delivery drivers. Anyone else play Roblox with their kids? These two, well, Kira's not here. They'll play this for hours, obsessing by it. The controls are weird. Where's the controller? Like, why are we not using a controller in that?
You can't.
It's
You
not good
get
enough.
the pizza.
Need to go get it then. It's gonna burn, man. Don't let it burn.
Got it. It's in the bag.
Proper wood fried, yeah? And prestiging right now, you know. Lego. Right, done it. Prestige 1. Yes, people, how we doing? It's Wednesday. I'm currently just watching the charts. Not a lot happening. No trades for me this week as of yet. Obviously, we got budget cuts today, which is going to be interesting. Tax in the UK is about to go on a mad ting. Seen a lot of people talking about wanting to leave, especially a lot of entrepreneurs and whatnot. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. And, yeah, other than that, very volatile couple of days. Just chatting to everyone in the Discord, catching up. We got our end of month Zoom on the Friday. And I was just catching up with them, just saying, like, be careful between now and sort of elections. We're likely going to see some volatility, some wicks, things dashing about. Just be careful, be cautious. Like sometimes, as I said last week and many other weeks, you know, knowing when to trade and when not to trade is really important. And, you know, if it doesn't look right, if it doesn't meet your criteria, if the market doesn't look like it's shaped up yet, don't start cutting corners and just trying to take shit because you're like, oh, it's the end of the month, I want to end on a high, or I'm that close to passing, or I'm that close to a payout, or I'm that close to getting an allocation with Darwinex, or whatever it might be. Because ultimately it can just ruin your month, ruin you. You can go on tilt before you know it. You've had a good month and you've turned it into a diabolical month. So October's been a good test for me. It's been the biggest loss streak I've had all year and we dealt with it well. One thing I didn't do, if I'm just being really critical, is I changed my risk when I was down 6%. I went to half risk and then I stayed on half risk pretty much most of the month and got myself back above BE, or just at BE roughly on most accounts. And if I'd stayed on 1%, which part of it's my rule, I do have a drawdown recovery plan. However, like I've said to you before, with props these days, my approach is a little bit different with them. I don't want to be like letting them govern me too much. I want to capitalize on them best I can. And I don't know if balancing drawdown and treating it, you know, like maybe my Darwinex or something is worthwhile. And the reality of it is on my personal, I didn't drop my risk, just stayed the same. So it's like, why did you do it on prop? But obviously it's because you're like 60% down in theory, right? So naturally you're like, oh, I've only got 4 trades and it's done. But then I went on a 5-win streak. So I would have finished the month like plus 10%, which is nuts, right? And it's just a lesson there. You know, even for myself, I know this stuff. I've been talking about it for ages, but in the moment, life, everything going on, you just go, oh, I'll be a bit safer. I'm going to drop my risk. And there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I've recovered from that drawdown and I'm BE. However, it's just like capitalizing on the months when they're good, making sure you are making the money and that your edge is returning. Because ultimately, if you do have a bad month, which can happen, you might spend a month in drawdown or be dancing or whatever it might be, and you might not make any money from it. And you know, that's the reality of trading. That's trading in general. Cooking a Halloween cheesecake, according to Steffo.
We're not cooking it.
Making it.
It's a no bake.
Here's to the cake. Cheesecake Biscoff. Steph kind of went mad with the top, but this little lady has decided she doesn't like cheesecake. Who doesn't like cheesecake, mate?
Me.
Super excited because Darwinex's permanent allocations are now live. The way this works is you have to already have an active Darwin, so you have to have come off the risk engine. Your payment section on your Darwin, obviously this is when it's created, when it's live, remember that. You pop over to payments, you go to allocations. There's a video here, which you can watch it work. It explains to you more in depth. And then you can click here, I want it. So these are the 4 tiers. So basically, when you hit 5%, if you were to go for this option, you'll be given your 100k allocation. So that's 495 euros. Obviously 10%, 295, 15%, 200, 20%, 145. As soon as I purchase it, once I make 5%, I'll be given a 100k allocation. And the beautiful thing with this, which is completely game changing, is I can't lose it. So if I have a bad patch, if I have a drawdown patch, if I have a drawdown period or a slow period, there's no worry about me losing it. There's no one going to be able to come and take the allocation off me. It's a permanent allocation of 100k, and all your other allocations will be added on top. So yeah, if we go for this, payment successful. So congratulations, you're one step closer to unlocking your 100k in payment allocation. Remember that the increase over your Darwin's quote that you need to achieve is 5%. The final target quote will be calculated based on the quote of your Darwin at the end of the minute when the payment is confirmed. So yeah, happy days there. I'm telling you now, this is absolutely game changing. I do believe every single person should have a Darwinex. Think of the bigger picture. A lot of the big people on here that are trading millions have started 6-7 years ago. So you might as well start today. I'll leave links in the description to everything. Shout out to Darwinex. I remember going to Madrid last year and mentioning something like this to them, and they've come out with it and they've come through with it, and it's going to be game changing for everybody. If you've already used my code and you want to use it again, just sign up with a different email and it should be sweet. You're cooking, mate. Yeah. Right, super productive day. No trading for me today. To be honest, market's looking quiet. Elections coming up next week. NFP is Friday. I think it could be chaos, so we'll see what happens. Me and Mia are preparing dinner, ready for the girls to get back. So, catch you in the morning. I had a massive dilemma this morning on Bruno's walk. My guy decided to take a shit on stingy nettles. But you know those ones that like, not the ones with the spikes, the ones that just, you touch them and that's it, you're done. So I had a choice to make. Either leave his poo there, I don't want to be that guy, or pick it up. But I was either going to get stung, shit on me, or both. I got stung. Don't know if you can see it. But it's really annoying. Yeah, happy Thursday, people. I dropped a massive voice note in the community because I needed to talk about something for them all that I was noticing a common pattern in a few people and something that's not spoken on enough. And you know, one thing that I can touch on some brief stuff here is one of the biggest things I think people forget to do is give themselves evidence in the system they're trading. They look at someone online who's maybe making money and saying this is all I do, etc., etc., but they fail to go and actually get the data themselves. And you hear people say this is a high prob setup, this is a low prob setup, or whatever. Again, a lot of buzzwords get thrown around, but do you actually know what that means? Why is it a high prob setup? What data have you got that backs it up that it's a high prob setup? Because I think if you've got data, let's say you've got 100 trades or a year of data, and that in itself will give you confidence. So then when it comes to hesitation, I didn't take it because of this or that, a lot of that can be fixed by having data to know X, Y, and Z. Or when you're on a loss streak, you know it's normal to perhaps see 4 losses on average in a row before a win, for example. So having data is massive, and I don't think enough people are getting it these days. I think they're just going live, seeing a few things work. Maybe you catch something on a good month, and then when it has a bad month, you're in unknown territory and you don't know how big the loss streak's going to be or how bad the loss streak could be, and if it's even normal because you've got nothing to compare it against. And obviously data can change because new data can come out, right? But old data can't, and at least it gives you something to benchmark off and something to know. And I think that in itself will give you confidence to execute. And then of course, there's a lot of mental stuff that needs work. And I'm not going to repeat the whole voice note here because you'll be here for 17 minutes because that's how long it was. But something to really think about. Like, do you actually have data? Ask yourself these questions, you know, because often as humans, we tend to avoid the serious questions and we palm it off to be something else or someone else's fault or something else's fault. But you're getting to the end of the year now. It's closing on the end of the year. Have you really done the things you set out to do this year? Have you seen growth? Have you seen progress? Or are you still doing the same shit you were doing last year? You took it into this year and you're potentially going to take it into next year because you aren't able to be vulnerable enough and self-aware enough to identify that perhaps you're the issue.
They're looking away. Bruno keeps on looking away.
He's not sure what's going on, mate. Oh, don't let him lick you, mate. It'll come off. It's Friday, gym done. It's the 1st of November, new month. Let's make sure we're getting after it. No slacking. Whatever you did in October, it's in October. It's a new month. Make sure you're moving forward. Doesn't mean the year's over. Don't slack. Keep the momentum going. It's just like a snowball effect. Many people get complacent this time of year. Many people fall off. I know in some of the vlogs I made it like I'm chilling a lot, but understand I have a very strict routine that I'm getting done way before I'm chilling, way before I'm relaxing. At the same time, I add in spontaneity. The kids have been off this week, so it's important for me to make sure I'm spending time with them, doing things with them. I'm gonna go home, shower, breakfast, check the charts. Massive sell-off on gold yesterday, so hopefully see some movement. However, it is NFP, so again, likelihood is no trading for me today. I'm gonna review the month. I Zoom tonight with the Discord, gonna go over some bits and bobs for that, get them ready and get them in the right state of flow for this month. And yeah, that's about it so far. Peace. Coffee. It is 10 o'clock and we've already done most of our routine for the day. We've just done 9,000 steps, so I'll get another 1,000 done between now and the end of the day. Call of Duty have released new maps today, and I'm hearing it's also double XP, so I am gassed to get on it, but I've got stuff to do first. And as I always say, we prioritise the things we have to do so that once they're done, we can then enjoy ourselves. Mia's gone out with Steph to get their nails done. Kira had a sleepover last night at her friend's. It's just me and Bruno. I'm going to crack on. I need to edit this vlog because I've got a lot of footage to put together this week. A little bit more of a different one this week than the usual ones, but I like to mix it up, show bits of life. Like I say, I'm not just a trader Don. Appreciate you all watching. Really listen to the things that I'm saying in these vlogs because I'm not saying them just for fun. I'm saying them because I've gone through a lot of the things you're going through. I understand a lot of the things that you're probably experiencing, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions. It can feel lonely, and there wasn't a lot of people when I was doing this putting out real content. It was just always the glitz, the glam, and I understand that stuff will always sell. I understand, look how much money I made, will always get more views, but it's not what I want. I want to actually help real people and share and document me and build something real. Also got my Darwinex 30k allocation today, which is nice. So we hit a score last month of like 75.8, something like that. We also obviously hit a new all-time high, which is nice. So got that, then I've got to make 5% on the 100k allocation that I bought this week. Once I've done that, I've got the 100k, which will be added to the 30, so I have 130. I'm already, as it stands for November, in the running to get another allocation for next month, depending on how my month goes, of course, but you know, could potentially close November at sort of 160 with Darwinex, which would be very nice. That was one of the most anticlimax NFPs that I've ever seen. Nothing really happened. Obviously yesterday's sell-off was crazy, where we had the PCE numbers priced in. So for me, that's no trades for the week. And one little lesson to finish this vlog off is, you know, people around me, friends, people in Discord have traded this week, and some of them have had a fantastic week, some of them have killed it, and not once have I thought, oh, maybe there's something wrong with my system, maybe there's something I need to change or adapt. Old me used to think that way. I don't think like that anymore. You know, I'm confident in my system, and again, it goes back to having data and having the correct processes, and also doing the work on yourself, the inner work, the self-image work, the identity work, and truly understanding that you're going to have ebbs and flows. The month itself gave me plenty of opportunity. As I said, I kind of messed my risk up in terms of the prop accounts. So ultimately, it's just shown me, you know, by going through, collecting a bit more data, doing a few more bits and bobs, really reinforcing a few things to myself. It's like, just keep your risk as it is. In worst case, I'm going to blow a prop account up. Highly doubt it. If it happens, that's worst case. You know what? I'm willing to take that. At the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. It's not worth stressing over. It's not worth losing sleep over. So yeah, feeling really good, ready for November. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we've got elections on Tuesday, so I'll be honest, I'm probably going to stay out of the charts until the elections. Remember when the last elections were on, and you were getting like 60 pip candles from nowhere. There's no pre-warning because it's an election. It could say Trump's winning, and before you know it, boom, that could impact the market in some way. So make sure you're safe this week, people. Don't try and do anything silly. Don't try and be a hero. Even if you get away with it, those bad habits, they will form worse habits, and they'll catch you out at some point. I've been there. You get away with doing bad shit for a certain period, and one day you get caught, and when you get caught with your pants down, you get rear-ended with a road cone, and it fucking hurts. So just don't be that guy or girl. But yeah, listen, appreciate you all for watching. As always, I'm going to end the vlog here. Going to finish editing this. I'm just going to have a chilled afternoon with the fam, play a bit of COD. Nuketown's out, I believe, so looking forward to playing that. Some nostalgia there. And without further ado, I'll catch you all in next week's video. Peace and love, gang.